Hi, in this video I'm going to talk about the differences between Page Optimizer Pro and CORA. So Page Optimizer Pro versus CORA. So let me just start presenting this. Page Optimizer Pro versus CORA. I've seen this question come up many times, and usually it's the question's kind of asked as which one's the best? Do I need both? And can they work together? So the reason I think that people ask this is because sometimes CORA and POP can give conflicting advice. So in CORA, CORA's default settings are practical maximum, and what that means, it's the first, second, or third result, or the page one average, and then that compares to your to your particular page, and then if you're short, it's a deficit, and that transfers over to the roadmap. So Ted's view is that you can't. There's no such thing as over optimization, because he's seen instances where there's 20% plus match count. So his view is practical maximum is the setting you should be going for. And that's versus POP. So POP's default setting is like a competitor average, and it's always trying to prevent you from having too much. So Carl's view is based on his single variable testing, and he has seen that certainly in a single testing environment, you can over optimize and cause your page to be demoted. So that's Carl's view. So my personal view is that the answer lies somewhere in between both extremes. So when I do my CORA work, I always look at the overview tab, and I tailor my advice. So an example here is if I go into the overview tab and see one of the pages in there has got 10,000 words. And then I look at the second and third page and the page one average, and that's only 2,000 words. My advice is not going to go and get 10,000 words. It's going to go and get 2,000 words, because creating another 8,000 words, the cost that's going to involve, and no one else is doing it, it just doesn't seem like a very efficient or productive strategy there. So that's what I do with CORA. I always tailor the advice, and I kind of treat that practical maximum as something to be investigated. With POP, what I like to do with Page Optimizer Pro is I like to get the exact matches correct, because I think that's where Google could potentially penalize you for being over the average. And then I personally like to over optimize the variations. I kind of agree with Ted there that you can kind of push the limits on the variation. So I tend to over optimize the variations and therefore not get the perfect score in Page Optimizer Pro, but I think over optimizing on the variations gives you an edge on your competitors. So in terms of ranking factors, what CORA does is assumes nothing's a factor. So it bases everything on statistical analysis, and that's what shows you what's important. So every single keyword, once you run it through CORA, will come back with a different set of factors that CORA thinks are important, based on statistical analysis, because the statistical analysis actually gets back how strong that factor is statistically. So, and then all the factors within CORA that you go after are all ordered by the strength of their correlation. And that's versus POP. So POP's been built from the ground up using single variable tests. So Carl within the SIA and on his own has done literally hundreds of single variable tests where he's seen, for example, as a basic example, that a title outperforms an H1, for example, or an H2. So therefore, Page Optimizer Pro says that having your exact keyword in your title is an important thing, and you should always do it. Whereas CORA might come back and and say that having your keyword, your search term in your title is not statistically relevant. So, you don't need to do it. So that's the difference between the two on type of how the ranking factors have been pulled together. Then there's also the range of factors. So CORA covers a lot more factors. I think it's at 800 plus now. I know in CORA 4, it was about 600, and I know Ted was planning on getting up to 1,000. And so it covers CORA covers off-page, covers social, it covers trust factors, so integrates with Ahrefs to give all the off-page. So it just covers a lot of different factors, whereas Page Optimizer Pro is purely focused on-page factors, and I think it's got about 40 plus factors in there. So that's the difference between the two of them. CORA just covers a lot more. That they're not really comparable tools because CORA is just giving a much more in-depth analysis when it comes to range of factors. In terms of competitors, so what CORA does is it uses the top 100 search results, and that's pretty important according to Ted, because that's what you need for your statistics to show which are the most important factors. So versus Page Optimizer Pro, you actually choose the competitors, and you normally, certainly I'm normally only choosing between 4 and 6 competitors, and sometimes, if you're ranking number 2, you'd only choose the number 1 competitor. So that's the difference there. So in terms of the cost, CORA costs $250 US dollars per month, but you can get a 25% discount. With Ahrefs, which costs about $110 a month, and with a 25% discount, it comes up to about $187.50 or something a month. So, with CORA and Ahrefs, it's going to cost you about $300 US dollars per month. Page Optimizer Pro, so the agency plan is about $78 per month. So that's almost the highest comparable plan to CORA, whereas I think there's individual plans on there, even for unlimited, that is about $39 per month, and it even goes down to $20 a month. So Page Optimizer Pro is just a lot more affordable than CORA. In terms of the reporting, so CORA gives a roadmap, it gives stories, and then it gives basic and advanced optimization tabs. So what I really like about CORA is that it gives these stories, and it kind of shows, based on your keyword, what Google thinks is important. So if you look at it like in a macro view, if the top 10 items that come back are all related to backlinks, then you know that particular keyword, backlinks are pretty important. So that would be a focus that you need to place on that particular page if you want to rank. So Page Optimizer Pro just gives you a score out of 100, how you compare to your competitors, and then it gives you, a roadmap in terms of exact and variations and what you need to fix to improve your score, and then you keep rerunning it. And obviously the idea is to get a higher score as possible. So that's the difference there between CORA and POP. The type of software, so CORA you actually download to your Mac or your PC, and it's also a suite of software. So there's a correlation tool, there's a comparison tool, and there's a bunch. There's kind of an outreach tool. So there's a keyword tool as well. So CORA comes with a bunch of different software. You download it to your Mac or your PC. It is a bit of a pain in that every time there's a new version, you have to go and download it, and often the new versions have some teething problems, and they for whatever reason CORA breaks, and you have to go back to Ted, and he does work pretty hard on fixes and getting them out as soon as possible. So no problems there. But if you compare that to Pop, Pop's a SaaS software, so it's online, and you go in and you run your reports online, and then you can download them to Excel. So people do have issues with Page Optimizer Pro, but certainly in comparison, not as many issues as I've had with CORA, as it's all online. So, and there's been a lot of changes to Pop Page Optimizer Pro since it's come about. So, but also equally a lot of changes to CORA. It's seen some huge changes, and they're usually very, very good. So can you use Page Optimizer Pro and CORA? My thoughts on this are absolutely you can. So how I like to do it is I like to use Page Optimizer Pro to give me the requirements for a new page, and then to build out that new page, and then to get as high a score as possible as I can get on Page Optimizer Pro. So that's the on page done for me. And then what I then would do is run CORA to fill in the blanks. So, to tell me what I've missed on that page, or what Google thinks or what CORA thinks is important for that particular keyword based on the statistical analysis of all the various top 100 competitors. So that's what I like to use CORA for. It can often tell you trust and social and backlinks that are important for your keyword. So that's pretty much all I have for this video. Thanks a lot for watching, and I hope you got a lot out of it.